The NBA's 2024 to 2025 season is upon us, and here is our list for the top 15 NBA players heading into the season. The Knicks appointed Brunson team captain this offseason, which feels like more than just a ceremonial title, considering the way that, in just 2 seasons, he's managed to cement himself as a franchise icon. Brunson was twice a champion at Villanova and quite good during his time in Dallas. Yet sometimes a player just feels fully and completely of a place, like when a tough scoring guard bucks the odds to send the crowd at the Garden into an absolute frenzy. It's a perfect match. Brunson is a model franchise player, and he's just getting started. For a player who entered the league in 2015 largely pigeonholed as a shooting specialist, Booker has led many different lives across his 9 seasons. He was in Phoenix when the Suns were the worst team in the NBA, and he was in Phoenix when they made their first finals appearance since 1993. Sure, he's been at times the team's best shooter, but also its best isolation player, its most reliable pick-and-roll ball handler, its pluckiest perimeter defender, its de facto point guard, its unquestioned leader. After killing his ego as a spot-duty utility wing playing for Team USA in Paris, Booker enters year 10 in Phoenix with a new perspective. Perhaps he has it in him to be all of the above on a team that also boasts arguably the most versatile offensive player in history. With a year of experience under his belt, the number 1 pick from 2023 is coming for number 1 on this list. The unanimous 2023-24 Rookie of the Year put together a historic first season in the NBA, producing numbers that compared favorably to Spurs Hall of Fame big men David Robinson and Tim Duncan's first NBA All-Star nod, while falling squarely into the MVP conversation. Despite impressive growth and achievement over the years, Brown's career has been pocked with doubt and commotion. But Brown is now a made man. Last June, he was voted the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP, helping lead the Celtics to their 18th title with big shots, momentous dunks, and on-ball defense that was second to none. The validation of a title may shift the focus from Brown's weaknesses to what makes him a premier two-way wing, the explosive downhill drives, brute force, and uncanny shot-making that fuels Boston's elite offense. During the playoffs, Brown made 81.4% of his field goal attempts within 3 feet of the basket, an incredible mark that helped offset some up-and-down results from the three-point line and charity stripe. This season, coming off a summer in which he was snubbed by Team USA, Brown may feel like he still has skeptics to prove wrong, but by reaching the NBA's mountaintop, he's proved he can win at the highest level. Davis is coming off one of the best seasons of his career, collecting a personal best 12.6 rebounds per game, along with 24.7 points, 3.5 assists, and 2.3 blocks. All while playing a career-high 76 games. After a rough stretch of injuries following the 2020 title, Davis reminded everyone of his place as one of the most dominant two-way talents in the game. And at 31 years old, Davis should have plenty of meaningful basketball left in him as the Lakers look to return to contention with new coach J.J. Redick. Edwards was the breakout star of the 2024 season with an All-Star appearance, an All-NBA selection, and a dominant performance in the playoffs that peaked with a Wolves victory over the defending champion Denver Nuggets in the second round. Edwards averaged 27.8 points on 48% shooting and led the Wolves to their first conference finals since 2004. He then followed it up this summer by playing a key role for Team USA's gold medal campaign in the Paris Olympics. With the NBA in the midst of an unprecedented run of international players dominating both the MVP race and discussions on the best players in the league, the 23-year-old has an opportunity to grab the mantle as the league's next best American-born player. The best basketball players in the world descended on Paris this offseason to compete in the Summer Olympics, vying for the gold medal and national pride. When it was all said and done, James won the 3rd gold medal of his career and was named tournament MVP, another win in his unrelenting battle against Father Time. Anyone who watched him spark a second-half comeback against Serbia by guarding Nikola Jokic on one end and attacking the hoop on the other was reminded exactly who LeBron is when the chips are down. And the fact that he put up 25.7 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 7.3 assists in his 21st season while becoming the first player in history to top 40,000 career points. Again reaffirmed his elite level in the game at 39 years old. Age 40 LeBron certainly isn't the same player he once was. Those power drives have largely devolved into settling for step-back threes, and he'll get to the rack more with old man strength and guile rather than an explosive first step. James will dominate. It's just more calculated, like he knows exactly how many takeovers he has left in his coffers and needs to make sure before he uncorks one. But he's still a marvel who can manipulate a possession with his read of the court and game situations. Durant's ranking is more of a reflection of the ascension of others than any decline on his game. After all, last season he appeared in 75 games, 20 more than he played in any season since suffering a torn Achilles in 2019. He was his usual efficient self, averaging 27.1 points on 52, 41, and 86 shooting splits and earning his 14th All-Star nod. While he could have been dinged for the Suns' underwhelming playoff performance, it's hard to peg the first-round loss on him after he averaged 26.8 points on 55, 42, and 82 shooting splits against Minnesota in the four-game series. He showed off his sustained excellence all over again during the Paris Olympics as the team's third leading scorer, behind Stephen Curry and LeBron James. All basketball fans should hope that Curry's last hurrah didn't come in Paris, when his ludicrous shot-making saved Team USA in both the semifinals and finals en route to Olympic gold. The Splash Brothers are now broken up and the Warriors are stuck on the fringes of contention in the West, but through no fault of Curry, who remains the NBA's best shooter, greatest showman, and most dangerous perimeter threat. At some point, presumably, Curry will slow down, but that hasn't happened yet. He won the 2023-24 Clutch Player of the Year award, and the 357 three-pointers he made ranked third all-time. Curry owns the number 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 spots on that list. Even in his mid-30s, Curry remains an elite offense unto himself. No player forces more defensive adjustments from opposing teams. Beyond his efficiency and statistical impact, Curry retains a singular flair and watchability. There's still nothing in the sport like a Curry heater. He knows it, fans know it, even his closest rivals know it, and they can't help but be impressed by his ongoing brilliance. Embiid's 8th NBA season ended like so many of his other campaigns, with him hurt and the Sixers on the outside of the conference finals. It's a disappointing pattern, especially considering how sublime Embiid has proved to be, virtually unstoppable whether he's facing up from the high post, ducking in on the block, or popping out for an open jumper. Double teams are required and then made futile. Embiid was on his way to leading the league in scoring for a third straight season last year before he suffered a knee injury in San Francisco that knocked him out of every award conversation and limited him to 39 games. His career now is essentially a race against how his body responds to the passage of time. He's 30 and has had multiple surgeries on his knees and feet. Not ideal. But with Paul George, probably the best teammate he's ever had, now mixed in, it's time to put up or shut up. Excuses do not exist for Embiid or the Sixers in 2024-25. We know what he can do in the regular season. The big question is, will he ever come through when the stakes are high? How many MVP awards will Gilgeous-Alexander win before it's all said and done? Whatever your answer might be, this question is reserved for NBA players in the top 1% of the top 1% of the top 1%. Coming off a season in which he was a runner-up for the sport's most historically significant individual honor, SGA, all of 26 years old, is already piecing together a historic career. There might not be a more aesthetically pleasing scorer in basketball right now, with a game sustained by unrelenting forays into the paint that keep defenses guessing and honest. He blasts into his 7th NBA season, having averaged over 30 points in each of the last 2 years, with feathery jumpers, the footwork of a tap dancer, defensive chops, and compacted confidence that bleeds into everyone who fights in the same jersey. Now the best player on a Thunder team that's built to reign over the Western Conference for as long as his prime, smart money has Gilgeous-Alexander's name getting engraved in the Michael Jordan Trophy at least once. The Celtics star had another consistent season, making his fifth straight All-Star team, third straight All-NBA team, and, most importantly, claimed the franchise's record-setting 18th NBA title, and the first of Tatum's career. With repeated averages in the range of 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists a night, coupled with the ability to guard several positions and play more than 70 games a season, Tatum is one of the most reliable stars in the league. Tatum's won a title and he's made first-team All-NBA 3 seasons in a row. Only 5 other players in NBA history have accomplished both those feats by their age 25 season: Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Bob Pettit. That's a pretty good list. Tatum's accomplishments, relative youth, and durability, he's never missed more than 8 games in a season, mean he's well on his way toward the upper echelon of the NBA's all-time rankings. After an up-and-down regular season featuring a whirlwind of changes for his team, Antetokounmpo watched from the sideline with an injury as the Bucks were eliminated in the first round for a second straight season. The Bucks' 2-time MVP has not consistently been healthy enough to help provide an answer for whatever ails the team in recent seasons. However, when he does take the floor, his production has hardly dropped off. He averaged 30.4 points and 11.5 rebounds while putting up career highs with 6.5 assists and shooting 61% from the field in 73 games last season, earning him votes for MVP despite an underwhelming overall season in Milwaukee. Antetokounmpo is entering his age 30 season, a milestone that forces players to consider what's left on the table, even though Giannis himself has famously worked hard to stay in the present. Doncic won his first NBA scoring title while producing an about whether his astounding production could truly drive winning by leading the 6th-seeded Mavericks to the tree of play. His defense suffers for all that heavy lifting at times, as he trudges his way back in transition and puts the Mavs at a disadvantage. He chirps at the referees too often and moves without the ball too little. Luka's game, however, is a matter of scale, the sheer tonnage of moves and reads and decisions executed to the highest possible level, weighed against the occasional caveat. No player is perfect, but Luka teasing out every option in the pick-and-roll game comes alarmingly close. After winning 3 of the past 4 MVP trophies, Jokic has a chance to reach legendary status by becoming only the 6th player to win 4 or more MVP awards should he repeat this season. Considering that only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and LeBron James have accomplished that, it's easy to see why Jokic is the best player in the world right now. Listed as the top passer and smartest player in the NBA in a recent GM survey, Jokic will be counted on to do perhaps even more this season with different pieces around him. But that might not even matter with Jokic's greatness. His combination of size, brute strength, nimble feet, soft touch, moonbeam shot angles, and dark magic passing skills is impossible for a single player to stop. So a defense will inevitably send help, at which point Jokic will use his clairvoyant anticipation to identify and then hit the open teammate, either with an easy pass or some wraparound number if he's feeling saucy. The addition of Aaron Gordon in recent years has also helped Jokic mitigate his lack of mobility on defense, allowing him to leverage what he does have. He won't run anyone down in transition, but good luck scoring over a guy who is as big as a boulder and knows all of your foul-drawing tendencies. And if that's not enough, he's virtually injury-proof, having sat out double-digit games in a season just once and only 44 games total over his 9-year career.